So Grendel, our big meaty Warframe, is about to go through some changes, and I don't mean hair in places that he had no hair before. There is a complete rework on the way, and it's making it look like my initial 2 Umbral Forma that I stuck on him might be worth the investment. But the rework right now has kind of split the community. When I say split, it's more of an 80-20 kind of feel. A lot of happiness for the changes, but some players missing the fact that you will no longer be able to suck up a whole room of enemies. So in the footage shown by Phello on last night's dev stream, his Grendel had no arcanes, and I think he said it only had about 5 mods equipped, so by no means was he min-maxed to the levels that some of you will reach. Now Grendel can only consume 5 enemies at a time. That's the new limit. Gone are the nom 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 builds where you could clear out a whole room, but they've said that they changed this as a way to combat slowing down missions, and I'm guessing maybe removing so many enemies from the field at the same time, which means that players in your squad didn't have as much fun killing enemies because you're basically taking them for a walk. And let's be real, Grendel at higher levels wasn't powerful enough to kill those enemies in his belly. But now when you consume enemies, there is no energy drain when they're in your belly being digested. They're taking constant damage in your belly while giving you 1250 maximum armor buff from his passive for those 5 enemies eaten. So 250 armor per enemy in your belly. His buffs now activate at the same time, all 3 in one stomp, all 3 in one uwu. When stomping his foot, he will get an initial heal. He also has a retaliation effect that causes an area of effect explosion around him when he gets attacked. You can see that blue pulse on the screen when he gets hit. This also spreads 10 stacks of viral onto enemies caught inside it, making those enemies then easier to kill because they've got viral stacks. The buff also adds viral damage to his weapons instead of the old toxin damage buff that it used to give, and the final part of those buffs is that you will gain extra energy from energy orbs that you pick up. Now his third ability changes, which is now his meatball. It used to be his ultimate, his meatball, whereas now they've switched regurgitate and meatball from 3rd position to 4th position. His meatball will now drain energy if you haven't consumed any enemies. So if there's nothing in your belly, you're going to slowly drain your energy. But once you consume an enemy, the drain will stop. On top of this, you can now cast all abilities while in meatball mode. His meatball also has more control to it. Going up and down stairs did look much easier on what Phello showed us. He also has a heal over time while inside that meatball mode as well. Starting up at 260 health a second, I think, but then it drops down to 130 and it stays at 130 constantly. So his ultimate is now his regurgitate ability, the spit enemies out ability, and it will apply a toxin status effect on enemies caught up by that bile that comes out of his stomach, but also it will strip enemies' armor caught up in it as well. And I think Phello said on the dev stream last night that it starts at base of a 70% armor strip. So with a few strength mods, you would easily hit a full 100% armor strip. And when you see that ability regurgitate being used alongside his second ability, the buffs, and that kind of retaliation ability that you get from that, in combination with his ultimate on that large group of enemies in the void, it melts them in seconds. It honestly reminded me a little bit of Saren's old miasma spamming days, and that's probably just because the enemies dissolve in front of you. Now his augments, Phello said the augment for his second ability, the buffs, will now increase the duration of the buffs that you get. His gourmand augment, which is his first ability augment, the eating enemies augment, will still consume health, but it will give you a bonus of 150 armor per enemy in your belly, which will allow your Grendel to reach 2000 armor with his passive as well. So that's a lot of armor. So that would be a really heavily armored meatball that has a lot of heals coming into it, has a lot of viral spreading and toxin spreading as well, so it sounds pretty damn good. Now his meatball augment also has an energy reduction cost to the initial dash, so he does sound like he's going to be in a much better place than he was before, and maybe not just a meme. Whether he hits the heights of being a full meta frame, I'm not entirely sure, but I do think it's fair to say that the positives far outweigh the negatives of being able to suck up a whole room and take enemies for a walk while tickling them. So to fully recap, he is going to be really tanky. Can only eat 5 enemies at a time, no energy drain for them being inside your belly, has more than 1 heal, can fully strip armor, can cast all buffs in one stomp, spreads viral stacks with retaliation and viral buffs to his weapons as well. He can get more energy from orbs and has better mobility when in meatball mode than he had previously. Now, maybe I've left something out. Let me know in the comment section below if I did, but I do think he's much better than he was before, or he will be once this update drops. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of Grendel, what you think of the changes, whether you like them or not, or whether or not you're going to use them once this update goes live. Have a great day, and as always, thanks for watching.